guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to Steal the Spotlight. Today I finally have my wardrobe tour. I feel like this has been one of my most requested videos for a very long time, but I just keep putting it off. I feel like a lot of these sort of videos that I watch on YouTube are more of like a luxurious, custom built walk-in closet sort of deal, and that's just not what I have to show you today. We are currently in my garage, so side note, please do bear with me. I've got the garage door up to try and let in a little bit more light, but it's super windy outside, so hopefully the sound quality isn't too shocking. But I really wanted to share with you guys realistically how I store a majority of my clothing, and this is it. The garage is the best space for me, and these racks from IKEA are really handy. Obviously, this is way too much clothing for an average person, and I'm not trying to brag or anything like that. I have been collecting this stuff for a very long time, and obviously fashion is like my life, my career, my everything. So that's why I do have so much clothing. It's not just personal everyday wear. A lot of things I do purchase, especially from the thrift store, that are actually to help kind of bring a creation to life. You guys know I love concept styling here on my channel, so yeah, I feel like that's just a little bit of an explanation as to why you're gonna see so much clothing here today. So I'm gonna take you through these racks, and then inside I have a small wardrobe space to share with you in there as well. Starting out with one of my favorite racks, which is definitely trousers. Pants and jackets slash coats are my two favorite things to shop for, so I've definitely collected some cool items over the years, and I don't really keep them in a very specific like color coordination or anything like that, obviously, but I do roughly have like some printed patterned plaid pants at the beginning. We move into some wide leg flares, cargo pants, track pants, and then right on the end I have some overalls, jumpsuits as well. Obviously I can't help myself when it comes to plaid, tartan and gingham print. I have quite a number here. These pink ones from Princess Polly you would have seen quite a number of times, especially over on Insta. Surprisingly, I get a lot of wear out of these, which clearly need an iron at the moment, but they are quite a skinny tight fit, which isn't my usual style, but I think that they team up really well with baggy oversized graphic tees. You guys know I love my color as well, so I've got my blue and yellow plaid mum jeans from ASOS, and also my orange slightly flared trousers from IMGA. I wear both of those like crazy. I know sometimes when it comes to bold sort of items like these, people are like scared of outfit repeating, but I just go for it. There are surprisingly a lot of ways you can style them. Another item from IMGA that I wear a lot are the Ace denim trousers. I absolutely love the baggy fit on these, and just the way that they kind of scrunch up over a really chunky sneaker as well. I would say that a lot of these are my most worn items in my entire closet, because my go-to is usually pants. I don't really lean towards dresses and skirts that much, but trousers is definitely where it's at. A few years ago this rack would have been like filled with flare trousers, but I don't have too many these days. But I did hang on to this vintage 70s pair that I picked up when I was in Sydney a few years ago. There's a few wide leg trousers I've got here that I don't wear as often anymore, but I just can't get rid of them yet. This peach pair I wore recently in my That 70s Show inspired lookbook, and I've probably had these for like at least 7 years. Honestly, I don't find track pants to be the most flattering on my body shape. On Instagram, I feel like so many people rock them and they look amazing, but I've only got a couple of pairs there that I don't wear as often as I would like. I'm spending way too much time on this rack. Probably not the best one to start on because I love every piece individually. I'm gonna skip through to the end where I've got some of my jumpsuits. And this one is one of my most worn at the moment. It is so versatile. You may have seen it in my dish haul a couple of weeks ago, so I'm glad that I have this one in my collection now. Next up is a bunch of dresses. I have quite a few inside as well, but I thought I'd share some of my favorites from this rack. One would have to be this bad boy, which is this kind of midi length button up denim dress. I have quite a few denim dresses, but this one would have to be my fave because of that checkerboard print detail on the bottom. And this one I picked up from a vintage store called Trash Byron Bay. The front ones here obviously have some more kind of flouncy options, which I don't gravitate towards too often, but I do like to have on the off days that I'm feeling a little bit more girly. I've got just a bunch of little black dresses crammed in the middle here, which they don't really show up too well on camera, but some of my favorites would have to be this midi length once again, and it is a black with white polka dots on it. I featured this in my recent capsule wardrobe video. It is definitely a wardrobe essential for me. But some of my other favorites are definitely just these little slip dresses, which are so easy to thrift and really give that cool 90s vibe. Towards the end here, I have some more vintage pieces, which you might recognize from some of my decade inspired outfits as well, like this one here, which I got from the thrift store for like under $10, and it is like authentic 80s in its prime. I have these two vintage dresses from like 60s, 70s sort of era. And then also this 90s maxi dress is another one of my favorites. Lastly, from this rack, I wanted to show you guys this little number to see if you could guess which movie inspired video I am currently planning. This rack is a bit of a random mismatch. It has a lot of tops, but also many of my tops I actually store folded, so we've just got a few bits and pieces here. The one here on the front is this lovely little Diamante number. This is the sort of thing that I cannot part ways with because it is just so gorgeous, but I also never really get any wear out of because I'm a total grandma. One of my favorite things to thrift are little collared tops, whether they're kind of a polo style or a short sleeve button up. I find the best ones at the thrift. I feel like I want to go through like all of the ones at the front and then these ones not so much. So I love this cherry print top, which I picked up from Doll's Kill. Totally reminds me of Cheryl Blossom, especially if you tuck it into like some high-waisted red shorts or something. This is another one of my favorites from one of my favorite Australian brands, which is As I Am, the label. They have such cool quirky pieces on there, so definitely check them out if you haven't. We've got a selection of mostly button-up shirts along here. Fairly plain, nothing too exciting to share. Bit of polka dot, stripes, even some flower power. This one is a cute one to share though. It's kind of like a cape. I believe you would wear it over a nightgown back in the day. I thrifted this piece and I don't know, I just love it. It kind of makes me feel like a whimsical jellyfish for some reason. There's a few more really good thrift finds through here that you guys might recognize from some of my previous videos. And then on the end here, I just have a few skirts. They are mostly midi to maxi length, and then I have more of my minis inside. Out of this bunch, I would have to say that this Colourful fruit printed skirt is definitely my favorite. It is just so fun when you wear it. You just want to go on a picnic, spin around in the meadow. I don't know, it's good vibes. The next two I have are both filled with coats and jackets, and like I mentioned earlier, they are another one of my favorite pieces to buy, so I'm gonna try and go through as quickly as I can. This first third is filled up with all of my blazers. We have some that are just solid colors and others that have a bit of a pattern to them, and I'd say that my most worn is probably this number here, which is also probably the most basic of the bunch, but it just has the perfect oversized fit to it. I also really love this one, which I haven't had a chance to wear yet, but I recently thrifted it and it totally reminds me of something that I would wear if I was doing like a Heathers inspired look. This one you might recognize from my recent thrift flip video. I am absolutely stoked with how it turned out. And then another great find is this one here. I feel like these really 70s and kind of like Penny Lane inspired coats are a great item to look out for when you're thrifting, because often you can come across quite a few. A lot of my coats and jackets are thrifted, especially since I live somewhere where it's kind of warm all year round. I think a lot of people end up buying these beautiful outerwear pieces, never get a chance to wear them, and then they end up in the op shop for really good prices. So one of my favorites I've found is this one here. It is this gorgeous red sort of suede velvety fabric to it, and it's originally just from Valley Girl, so it wouldn't have been too expensive, but it has a super retro tag and I just absolutely love the fit and style. Switching things up to one that wasn't actually thrifted is this cropped snake print jacket. I always get a ton of compliments on this one, and it is definitely one of my go-tos. I think it styles up perfectly with the black cargo pants I'm wearing at the moment, and this one I picked up from Doll's Kill I think last year. Right towards the end are more of like duster coat, trench coat styles, and one that you guys have seen a lot of recently is this PVC one, which I thrifted. I believe it was only $15, and it's just one of my favorite finds ever. It is actually a Matrix collection, so I guess it's like a costume one, but It doesn't bother me. I will wear it on an everyday basis. We'll switch over to the last rack now. Clearly, I have a problem when it comes to red outerwear pieces. Red in general, I'm definitely a sucker for, but something about outerwear and also puffer jackets, I know they were massive in 2017, but I still absolutely love the style. I also really like the kind of car racing jackets as well, with all of the patches over it. I have two, both of them were thrifted, actually from the same thrift store, and I'm so pleased that I picked these ones up. I love my silver metallic puffer jacket as well. This one is from Doll's Kill. I feel like they do really good outerwear, but this one reminds me of like Astro Boy vibes, so always a fan of that. The puffer obsession also makes its way into vest form as well. And then I just have a few windbreaker styles too. This is a recent purchase that I have been wearing a ton. You guys would have seen it already over on Instagram, and it is this fluoro umbro one, which I picked up from Factory. You can also find some really cool vintage windbreakers as well. Then on the end here we have an absolute denim explosion. Nobody needs this many denim jackets in their life. I have a serious problem, but some of my favorites would have to be this one here that I got gifted when I went to a Princess Polly event. It has my name on the back, so it's just like a nice keepsake. This is another really fun piece that I got to keep after I did the Film to Fashion series, and it has this gorgeous Beauty and the Beast embroidery on the back, and I believe it was from the Disney collaboration with Mink Pink. One of my favorite styles at the moment are oversized men's shirts styled over the top of like a fitted long sleeve. I just really like that look for some reason, and this is one of my best finds on Depop. Originally I picked it up for my Freaks and Geeks lookbook, but I'm so glad that I have it in my collection now. Right on the end here I have just a few denim overalls, and they're kind of hard to display just on the hanger. This one is probably my best bet since it's just shorts. Total Rachel Green vibes. I wear this a lot during summer, and just denim overalls in general I would say is one of those pieces that if I was a cartoon character I would definitely be drawn in these all the time. And then on the bottom I just have a few of my favorite pairs of jeans. I just have them arranged down here from light wash through to dark wash, so they're a bit easier to find if you're in a hurry. Most of them are either a mum jean fit or a flare as well. I've kind of gone off skinny jeans, so I pretty much cleared all of those out of my wardrobe. So this was the last rack that I wanted to give you guys a good look at, but I do have one more that I'll just give you a bit of a quick overview of, because it is a bunch of stuff that you guys haven't seen yet and I keep for upcoming thrift hauls. Usually I just keep one rack spare, so that way whenever I'm buying things from the thrift store I can throw it all on here, keep track of it, it's all in one place, so when I come to film a thrift haul I know exactly what I haven't shared with you guys yet, so you have some pretty groovy things to be looking forward to. But that pretty much sums up for everything I have in the garage, so we're gonna move into the bedrooms. So now we've actually made it inside the house, and I take up two of these wardrobes in both the spare bedrooms. I kindly let my boyfriend use the bigger wardrobe in the master bedroom. I feel like that's the least I can do since I pretty much take over most of the house. But this wardrobe I would say is not as exciting as what's out in the garage. A lot of the chunk of it here is just like really basic little summer dresses when it's like 40 degrees and you can't be bothered putting anything else on. So I'll just show you a couple of my favorites. This one is definitely one of my most worn. It's a vintage item I got on Etsy, and I just think that this is a really versatile one. This one is another really similar option too. And then we have a couple of more like spaghetti slip dress sort of styles. I would say most of these are probably from Princess Polly. They just have some really gorgeous prints and some really cute cuts as well. Clearly I'm just all over the place because it goes from summer dresses to little cardigans and even a hoodie, but I guess these are just ones that I seem to reach for a lot, especially since it doesn't get super cold during winter. Sometimes you just want a little something to throw over. This is probably one of my most worn once again. I absolutely love anything with a bit of a faux fur trim. And then just before we switch to the other side, I have a few more button-up shirts here. I had some out in the garage, but these are the ones that I reach for more frequently. Some of my top picks at the moment are these two, which are actually both thrifted. This one is like a sleep pajama shirt, and then this one I just really like the houndstooth pattern on it. And then there's just a few maxi lengths as well. I don't think you guys have actually seen this one on YouTube yet, but it is absolutely stunning. I picked it up from Archive Vintage back in the summer and I just think it is such a beautiful fit. Moving on over to the other side, and I feel like this is back into that more like colourful, fun scene like we saw before. I have a bunch of tops in the drawers that just aren't really worth hanging, and then all of my mini skirts. There is such a good array here. I feel like I have all the patterns and colours covered. We've got camo, leopard, tartan, there's denim skirts, we've got feather trim, PVC, it is all happening. And now I'll bring you down so you can have a bit of a sticky beak and what I keep in the drawers. The bottom drawer just has a few of my turtlenecks and mock neck tops, and then at the back it has 3 pairs of shorts, which is literally all the shorts I own. I just don't find them very flattering on me, so keep those to a minimum. Next up, we have a bunch of my sweaters. Obviously, I've been wearing them a ton recently since it is August, so it's like winter time here. This would have to be one of my go-tos. It's this one from Unif. I only have a few pieces from them, but I do think it is well worth it, although it is very expensive. I've definitely gotten my money's worth. This ribbed mustard one has become one of my wardrobe essentials this season, and you can find them in a bunch of different colors on like all of the Australian boutiques at the moment. And then at the back I have another striped sweater that I wear to death. This one is from Princess Polly. I have it in 2 different colors. I just really like the overall silhouette and cropped style of this one. This drawer isn't really following any particular rules. It's a bit of a mismatch. I have a bunch of just really basic boob tubes, which are a wardrobe essential if you're into that early 2000s style like I am. Down the back is just a bunch of plain white tees, and then this front pile is actually just random thrifted pieces. This one on top is one of my faves. There's not really any rhyme or reason to this drawer either. It's just a bunch of different tops. Take your pick. Some are thrifted, some are new, some are cropped, some are full length, colourful, patterned, whatever. And then the last drawer is probably one of my favorites. This first pile here is just a bunch of these little mesh kind of long sleeve crop tops. I really like wearing these, I think because they don't need ironing. They're just a go-to. You can grab them and throw them on with no fuss. So I have formed quite the collection of these. And then again, the rest is just a random assortment of little tops. I've got this one that I recently picked up on Depop. I have this one, which I thrifted quite a while ago and still get quite a bit of wear out of. But I think that is enough from this wardrobe, so I will move on into the room next door and show you the last few things that I have. The first half of this closet is a lot of dresses and a lot of things that I don't really reach for too often. As you can see, there's a lot of glitzy sort of party items and things that are just a bit more dramatic and you don't really wear on an everyday basis. There's some really gorgeous evening pieces in here, like this gold dress. There's also this red strapless number, which is stunning. And then there's also a couple of jumpsuits too. This one obviously has a gorgeous sparkle to it as well, and just a plain black option too. And then eventually we do get into some of the more casual maxi dresses, a few floral sort of options as well. I feel like a floral maxi dress is almost like a summertime Australian barbecue essential. Last but not least, yes, we have more coats. I just can't help myself. Most of these are more of a faux fur material just because they're kind of bulky, so I don't like storing them out with the other jackets. But you guys will probably recognize this one the most. I feel like it pops up in quite a number of videos. This one was thrifted for only $10, one of my best finds ever. I'm also a big fan of leopard coats. I've had this one for years and years from Misguided, but last winter I also added this one to my collection. It's more of a cropped bomber style, just for something a little bit different, since a lot of mine are that really oversized faux fur that kind of swallows you whole. This black one here was actually also thrifted, again for only $10. I found it when I was in New Zealand and low-key super jealous. I was in Christchurch and I found so many good things at the thrift stores there. Way better than here in Brisbane. I think that's a wrap on this one though, guys. I really hope you enjoyed and it didn't disappoint after much anticipation. If you did enjoy, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. And also I did want to mention that obviously I didn't feature any shoes or accessories this time around, so maybe if you guys are interested I could do a part 2 delving more into that side of my closet. But otherwise I'd love to hear from you in the comments on which was your favorite piece that you saw in my wardrobe today. Make sure you subscribe so you can see how I style a bunch of this cool stuff in upcoming fashion videos. Thanks guys. Mwah.